All right, let's go ahead and get started. So similar to what I did for Gallywix for new people coming in that may have not fought Dimensius, I'm going to do a guide about how we do Dimensius and just things that you should know from my perspective and then the other people's perspective. This is from our second kill. Our second kill, we had, I believe, 4 or 5 people that have never done this before. Took us a little while to re-clear it, but we did end up re-clearing it. So first thing that you're going to notice whenever we go in is that we have people go left and we have people go right. Right? Raid groups 1 and 2 go left, raid groups 3 and 4 go right. And what we do at the start is the only thing that matters is killing the masses on the left and to the right, and then picking up the balls. You'll be assigned to pick up balls. It's in the assignments. I'm not going to go over that. You should know kind of the basics. So we go in for Devour. Right, and we're going to go in for Devour, have it go, and then I'm going to swap over to somebody else's POV here. And we're going to go ahead and, never mind, not that POV, Siemens. Okay. After the Devour, after every single Devour, you're going to have a knockback, right? So we have a knockback here. You got to use something to mitigate the knockback or position yourself to where the knockback does not knock you off the platform. Every single person, based off of our raid plan, is going to have a spot to stand and where to drop your puddles, right? So first one is probably going to look like this. Second one's going to be a bit more. And then third one might be like some over here, right? So just be careful. Make sure you drop your pools where you should be. You'll notice that the pools are dropping based on this purple little circle on you for your weak ores. And then the second part is killing these masses. So we want to kill these living masses. Let me go back just a second. So ranged and melee, you're hitting these living masses, right? And as soon as all of the living masses die, you'll notice this here, that there are still some masses, there's still some mass with health. As soon as all of them die, then they will drop their balls. But it is very important inside of P1 that we are doing things in the proper order so we don't fuck up the mechanics. So right here, you're going to see a soak come out. It's the same soak that you would see in Heroic, right? So you wait for it to blow up. You go into soak. This is everybody on that side. You go in and you wait until gravities go out. You can see gravity right here is going out. Gravity here is going out. You have to wait for gravities to go out before you pick up the masses, because you can pick up a mass and then to get gravity on you, and we basically die. So inside of P1, that's really the only thing that matters, is make sure that you pick up the go back for the gravities and then pick up the masses, and you pull them down. Okay. The thing about P1, it basically just repeats itself, right? We're about to get another slam. Okay, that slam happens. And here's the next important part that we have, right? So we're dropping our second set of circles. The second set of masses are coming out, as well as the second soak. So we kill the masses. Again, we're waiting. Soak goes out. Everybody goes in. And then from here, the people with the gravities are going to go to the back of the room. So one's going to go here. One's going to go here, right? And then we have to pick up these other masses. From there, all 4 people with the masses have to be in to pull the person down, right? Inside of Mythic, all masses active in a singular time on one side or the other need to be in the circle in order to pull them down. And you'll see this here. So we're pulling them down. We're pulling them down. And now, as we're pulling the last guy down, Devour starts, right? This is very large ticking damage. You're going to hear me call, use a personal. We're going to use a personal to mitigate a lot of this ticking damage. And as soon as the last person's pulled down, we all gate. And everybody on each side, this side will gate here. This side will gate here. And we congregate in the middle. And then after you do that, it's just rinse and repeat. We're not going to bother talking about it, but you just go to your proper positions. You pick up Now it's only going to be 2 masses and 2 pulldowns, and then we're phasing. Okay. We're going to go ahead and go back to my POV here. All right, so dragon riding. Unless you are assigned to an orb, don't worry about it. Just get to the platforms. If you're assigned to an orb, you can go to the Viscero sheet and or the Viscero website, sorry, and there is links to how to pick up orbs. So you just fly through, you do your thing. And you go ahead and you hit the first platform. Okay. Main thing about these platforms is ads are going to spawn. They're going to spawn down. Basically, they're going to spawn in a plus sign formation. All right. We are always taking the shit and we're trying to put it off the edge, right? So right here, we have these lines, and the way that this should work is you basically have all of this space for your lines. If you don't get a line as a rage, you're moving up over into here. We do have to do a little bit of an audible on this bolt, but I'll talk about that here in a second. We grip in all the ads, we kill. Now, what you can see happened, a Void Warden went to full health. Inside of Mythic, when you kill a Void Warden in a line, all the others in the line, this one here, go back to full health. So we actually killed this one. You're going to hear me say run through middle, even though I'm muted. I'm going to say run through middle, and we're going to run this way. Normally, this is the ad that we're killing, and we just run across this way. It's a small little bit of an audible, but again, I will always call that. Say run through mid. And then we do line formation. So specifically, line formation for any line formation that we do, melee circle, healer circle, range circle. Based on our raid plan, you will know where you are standing in this circle, and it is always the same spot that you are standing. The only time that this mechanic will change for you is if you get assigned a circle. So for example, if 2 people we have assigned as melee get a gravity circle, one's going to say melee and the other might say healer or ranged. You have to go and play in their spot and put the circle on top of them. The main thing about this mechanic, you always go to your same spot. If the gravity person is not there, that is not your fault. You are programming yourself to always move to the same spot every single time. Okay. So now that this happens, right, we let the gravities go off, and then we have lines. All right. So another rule that we have. Lines can go anywhere right here. Now, with this mechanic, he does, anytime this line goes off, it will knock you back a little bit. So if like you're here, it'll probably knock you like over to here, right? But as soon as these lines resolve, we are going to get pushback by Dimensius. And if you see here, this is our pushback lane. So if you are a class without a blink or a teleport or dust advance, you will want to take your line, maybe you're one of these 2 people, and put it over here, right? You're going to see that here in a second. Push back in 2, 1, and you can see how those people blinked back over or teleported because you see the Warlock there, and then I think Minute had his, right? But the pushback happened right after that, right? So pushback in 2, 1, you get knocked back, and then the push. So play yourself safe with your lines. Okay, for our strat, we just milk our Tojin here, wait for him to spawn the ads, and then we kill. We're not doing a second rotation. And specifically here, I'm going to let this play out, but watch this pattern for dragon riding. So what we have here, you hit the first one, ignore the second, and go right for the third. After the third, you hit the fourth, and then from here, flap up, and then spam your surge forward, and then also use your vigor recharge. You can hit this one. I'll pause it right here. Oops. I had like 2.5 seconds left on my debuff. So you can hit it just in time, and you'll get a few extra globals on the boss. You can see I picked up my orb, right? And I got here, and some people were just landing. So I could have been there way sooner for a lot of people. Okay. Now, Pargoth platform. Different set of mechanics, but similar thing to where we're going to have lines that go through the platform, right? But we actually have to bait this time. People don't get lines on them like the first one. We actually have to bait orbs. So you are going to hear me call, go to the bait spot. I will have one marked with X and one marked with circle, right? The first one we're going to is X. Now, this also applies to any melee. You must be between the boss and X the entire time, and I'll explain that mechanic here as it comes out. Right, so we are going to bait. Ignore me here because I can't get targeted. I'm gripping. Okay. Bait orbs in 0.1 seconds. Boom. When he casts his Star Shatter Nova, he will pick a player and cast it at them. When he casts, he's going to do a big area denial underneath him. That's like just a little slow puddle. But he's also going to shoot out 3 orbs. We have people assigned, you can see here, left, middle, and right, to soak those orbs. And you'll see that here. So he does Star Shatter Nova. He shoots out those orbs, right? You can see them starting to come through, left, middle, and right, and we need people to soak them while we're doing other stuff. So if you are not an orb person, here's exactly what I want you to do. When he starts casting Star Shatter Nova, all I want you to do is get out of his Nova and come right over to where I'm at or the ads are at, right? You can live his Nova. You're going to need to use a defensive, but we're going to use a defensive here in a second. So just basically get out of his Nova and keep hitting ads. You can see people that have killed this before. They're programmed. They are all right here. Okay. So now we're killing the Void Warden. We're killing the Nullbinders. And then we're going through. Be very careful. The boss's Star Shatter Nova and the orbs drop slow. Like it basically drops an area of denial, which is a slow. And what we're going to have to do, we're going to be moving over, and we might be going through a slow. So use your movement cooldowns if needed. I'll call this. And now we're going into triangle formation. So you can see here, I'll pause it. You have the melee, you have the healer, and then you have the ranged. Again, triangle formation, you are always going to the same spot every single time. This sometimes gets chaotic, especially depending on where we're at in the fight. So I will be calling use a defensive because this is the only other lethal thing that can happen on this platform. So because if multiple people are stacked and you don't use a defensive, you can probably die. So again, just make sure you go to the proper spots. Use a defensive. You can see here people had defensives rolling. And now we're just going to get pushed back. Okay. Now, ads drop, and new ads are going to be spawning, and we're going to stack at circle. So we're stacking at circle, we're baiting, Star Shatter Nova, boom, bait. And similar thing here. As he casts Nova, everybody should be wrapping around and ending right around here, because you can see there's a lock gate. We're going to have to use a lock gate. So we do this, we kill the Void Warden, we kill the Nullbinders, and boom, we gate. With this, it is line formation, same as the other platform, right? It's the same exact line formation, you're going to the same exact spots. And now, for what we do, we have to kill Pargoth here. But what you can do is if you kill Pargoth, as the pushback is spawning or right after the pushback, even if you get pushed off the platform, you do not die. So watch this here. Pushback coming. He's casting the pushback. And we kill him right now. Okay. At this point, you have to identify a few things. So number one, we have rewind running. So the damage that you're taking at the start of the pushback, you're already getting healed, right? And look at your health, right? Look at your health to see if you do need to use something. If you don't, but make sure you don't die, because healers can't really heal while they're falling unless it's like a small instant cast. Just make sure you don't die. But here we go. Okay. Now we're going to go into the last phase. We talk about this a lot going into the last phase, but this is where you are popping every single cooldown. I waited to talk about these cooldowns until we get to this phase, because in case like you skip over to the last phase. Okay. The first platform for Artosian, you're using your 3-minute cooldowns, your 2-minute cooldowns, whatever, right? Pargoth platform, you are only using 90 seconds as you land. You do not use anything else unless you were told to. The reason for that is we need to use our 2 minutes, our 3 minutes, etc. on this burn. Getting the most damage on this burn is the most important. You do not want to spend more time in this phase than you have to. You can see here, 15 seconds. If you ever notice this weak aura on my screen here, I'm going to talk about it for a second. This is the Northern Sky weak aura. This Northern Sky weak aura compares our boss damage at a point in time to their first kill. And they were like, I don't know, world top 10 or something. So this does not compare to any of our other kills, but this does compare our burn damage to their burn damage. And they were like, I don't know, 15 item levels below where we're at. Comp matters, other things matter, but I just want you to see something, right? As we're going through, we're doing the burn. And obviously we're catching up. So right here, I'll just stop it. Our burn, 6.5% better than Northern Sky on their first kill or whenever this was updated. That's really good. Our first kill that we did, we were about 14%. The reason why I talk about this and the cooldowns and how our burn did, it just lessens the amount of time that we're in the last phase, which is perfect because you'll see kind of shit can go everywhere at any point in time. All right, so for last phase, we have planets. There's 8 planets that spawn, and they do fall off damage. So 6, 7, don't get hit by the planet. If you get hit by the planet, you'll die. Every single time rings spawn, you're going to do either a movement left or a movement right. And I'll explain that here as the rings are spawning. So you see this ring with the halo, like the light glowing up in the air. That means that the order that the rings are going is this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. 4 rings. If we say move right, what you're going to do is you're moving right the whole time. And we'll go over that. But you basically identify which one is the halo, left or right, and you keep moving that way. So you'll kind of see that here. Okay. I'm going to AMS, so I'm a little different, but you get hit. Once you get hit by the ring. You can move a little bit over. Again, don't get hit again. Get hit by that one. And then it's good to get into this habit. You move just a little bit back. You don't need to really do that on this one, but you will need to do that on the next 2. So the main thing is do not double your debuffs. If you double your debuff, you're probably dead. So just make sure you're only taking 1 debuff at a time. Okay. The next thing that happens is Devour. You will be marked with a marker, and I will ping the furthest right planet. So this is going to be triangle. This is diamond. This is going to be star, I believe. And then this one is circle, right? I will always ping the green planet. So where triangle is, and everybody knows, okay, well, if I'm diamond, I'm 1 off of where triangle's going. If I'm circle, I'm 2 off. If I'm star, I'm 3 off, right? Okay. You can keep hitting the boss, do whatever, just align yourself with the planet. Okay. And then you just need to make sure you are in a planet before his cast goes off. So you're going to hear me call 2, 1, you go in. And now we are fucking off. That's my call, and I love to say it. These planets here, we are all going left. If you are a green planet or triangle planet, you are going right. We all need to end up together on the other side of the boss, and you'll see why in a second. Okay, so we're fucking off. All right. When these planets explode, they do fall off damage. We are going to get pulled while these are exploding. You need to defensive when this goes off, or Hellstone or Health Pot just to get yourself up to like 100% or as close as possible in case there's some shenanigans that happen. Right, so I'm going to let this play. You're going to basically call it defensive now. And you can see a lot of people have defensives rolling. We got Blur, Obsidian Scales, Desperate Prayer, Unending Resolve, Spell Reflect, Survival Instincts. Like, we got a shit ton of defensives rolling. And watch this damage that goes out. Okay. As this goes out, melee, healer, ranged. Right? Same thing as we have from the previous stuff. You're going to your same relative spots. Melee, healer, ranged. Get pulled in. Now, okay, we just took the damage. You can see people's health. We just took the damage from the planets exploding. Now, we have the gravities to deal with. Okay, gravities are going to go out. Boom. You can see health drops down even more. I'm going to watch this again, right? Watch people's healths as we move this. I'm just going to let it play fully. Okay, planets explode. And shit goes out. If we didn't have Spell Reflect rolling, we didn't have Unending Resolve rolling, we didn't have Desperate Prayer rolling, we didn't have some of that, like 3 or 4 more people are dead, right? You really want to make sure that you're using defensives properly in this phase. Now, after planets explode, they turn into, as we call, bad planets. 4 bad planets. If you touch them, you die. Same thing with Dimensius. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to go to a different person's POV because I'm about to be tanking. And we're going to explain how the second set of rings and the third set of rings, how they work. Let me see. Okay. So here we go. Next rings are coming out. From your position, again, you're going to take a look here. And you're going to see, okay, we're moving to the right. So we're moving to the right. The movement for the second rings is as follows. You instantly get hit, as you'll see this raid. Keep moving. If it's to the right, you're going to be moving to the right. If it's to the left, you're going to be moving to the left. Okay? Now, this is different because it's a Warlock point of view. He's just going to teleport. The main thing that matters here, you are ending up in between the good and the bad planet. Okay? Good and bad planet is where you're ending up always. All right. The reason that this is important, that you are in between the good and the bad planet, it is because your gravities come out as this last ring is hitting you. Okay, so gravities are out as the last ring is hitting you, and the pull-in's about to happen. So, what happens here is in between the good and the bad planet, melee, in all reality, should be like here. Ranged is here. And healers are here. The reason that we do this is it is very easy to get in your proper positions, right? If you accidentally went between these 2 planets and you get healer, you're having to run all this way, right? You get range, you're having to run all this way. You accidentally go here, you're having to go melee, you have to go all this way, right? It is very, very consistent if you are in between these 2 planets at the end of those rings right before gravities. And again, the way that we do it is we have the melee circle here, the range circle here, and the healer circle here. Okay. We're going to go ahead and get pulled. Let's go ahead and let that play. Should be able to go back to my point of view. Okay, next thing for rings. again, very important. You're going to hear us go left, right? So we are going to go left. We're going to get hit. We get hit. We keep moving, right? We're keep moving to left because we know we want to end up here. On this VOD, the tank doesn't move. The tank just needs to be moving this way. So don't bother looking at Z's tank positioning here. He just didn't move because he didn't have a defensive, so he just kind of had to wait. But everybody else did what they were supposed to, right? So here, we yell at him to move. He kills some people. It's fine. But we are in between the bad planet and the good planet. Okay? Here. This third pull-in. The gravities go off as we are getting pulled. So you are going to hear me go 2, 1, hands off keyboard. You just take your hands off and you do not move. You'll see that here. So 2, 1, hands off keyboard. Just let it suck you. It goes off and then you fuck off. Okay. After that, we have another Devour. It's going to use the last 4 of our planets. So everybody should know the planets that they're going to, right? Same thing as we talked about prior. You have triangle, you have diamond, you have circle, and you have star. Again, you're going to hear me go in 2, 1, in. And now everybody at this point, we are killing right after this, right? Especially if everybody is alive. You are using every single thing you have in the tank, right? And that will be my call. Like Luro should pop his AMZ. We should pop the Rally. We should pop the Him. We should pop APT. We should pop Zephyr. Every single thing left in the tank, your health stone, your health pot, whatever. Okay. I have to stand in this because I'm the tank. And then we're basically going to kill. Now we are going to lose a few people here. But if I could go back to Siemens POV, if we do get these last set of gravities and pulls, what happens now is the gravities actually go off before the pull happens. So you're going to get in your same as usual, right? It is melee, then there's healer, and there's ranged, right? You are going to make sure the gravity goes off in 0.7, boom. Now, the tank is going to pull you in 2 seconds. All you have to do is fight it, right? So watch the tank pull, boom, and you just run from it, and you're chilling. These rings are going to go off, but obviously we kill. So if anything, somebody will call left or right for the rings, but he's at 0.1, you just kill it, right? The things that matter inside of P3 is ring positionings, making sure you are setting yourself up for success with the movement for gravities, etc. And for your defensive usage, your health stones, your health pot, etc. Use your health stones or health pots. Obviously, if you're about to die, fucking rip it. But use your health stone or health pots to prevent yourself dying from gravity. That is one big hit worth of damage, right? If I go back over to here, right? We have rings ticking us, and then we're going to have gravities. These gravities are one big hit worth of damage. There's nothing else really going on, so you can use your health stone or health pot to make sure you live. My suggestion would also be use your defensive for the rings. Because if you notice here, 731, I get hit by a ring. I'm taking ticking damage. Getting hit by a ring again at 735, ticking damage. Next thing, I get hit by the ring, 738, ticking damage. And then we have the big gravity hit, right? If you can properly plan your defensive usage around the rings, you will be net mitigating more damage than using a defensive on the gravity, right? And also living a lot longer because you are reducing ticking damage for what was that, about 10 seconds, 9 seconds, and then using a health pot or whatever for the gravities. Versus going into a gravity, like you can kind of see Volg here, he's got a dot on him. He's at 13%. He's going to die to this gravity either way. I don't know what else he could have had up. I think he literally used everything that he could have. Just kind of bad timing. But keep that in mind. The only lethal thing in this fight, dying to gravities from overlapping too much, dying to taking 2 stacks of the rings, or just rotting out from the rings because you're taking ticking damage for like 10 seconds. Other than that, everything else should be mitigated. We're moving away from the planets, we're pre-popping defensives, we're utilizing group healing cooldowns, etc. So keep that in mind the next time we pull this, or you pull it with us for the first time. So thank you. Also, we have inside of clips in Warcraft Recorder. I did clip our kill. In case you just want to look at that, I'll probably link that in the unlisted description. But other than that, yep, that was our second kill. Thanks, guys.